Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hoopers Lab podcast. This is the podcast where we talk all things basketball. I'm your host, Brody, joined here by my lovely co host, Riley.
I would agree with that. I am quite the lovely co-host.
Yes, for sure. So today we are doing our Western Conference standing predictions. Last time we did the Eastern Conference standing predictions, and now we got the West. So we'll be predicting the seeds 15 all the way to 1, and we're just doing it for fun because no one is going to get this right. So let's just have fun with it.
I will.
Yeah?
Definitely not. I've been.
I'll put money on it?
Absolutely not. I've been going back and forth on it consistently. I feel like 2 through 12 is interchangeable.
2 through 12, yeah. I mean, 13 though, you have okay, interesting. Well, we'll get it. We'll start at the bottom.
Now we're here.
This is where I have the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, they're the odd team out of the West, and I think
it's not that they're bad though. Like if they were in the East, they could be a play-in
team.
That's
the thing.
Like,
I don't
fighting for a play-in.
I don't mind their roster, and I think they're slowly kind of putting something together. But just in comparison to the rest of the West, and I think there's some things that obviously they need to figure out what to do with Simons, what they're gonna do with Jeremy Grant and all and whatnot. But yeah, they have decent talent on their roster, but the West is just so good. It's not like they're gonna be Brooklyn level of, well, maybe they will be Brooklyn level of bad since they have to play everyone in the West more.
Yeah, that's the problem. They don't have any easy games. Like they can't just beat up on these bad teams for 4 games out of the season. Every game is a dogfight for them. And yeah, like you were talking about, like Simons, we'll have to see what his fit kind of is with this team and with the future. I'm expecting Scoot to have a bounce back year because his rookie season started out not so great. And then Shaedon Sharpe is injured again, which sucks because he's a great player. But with this team, they have a lot of players that individually I like.
No, that's
the problem is all of them together is not great.
I agree. Specifically for myself, I really like Simons, and I think if he could actually go to somewhere where he could play any type of role, you could see, he's at least an impactful player. Same thing with Jeremy Grant too, actually.
They got Denny Avdia, which was weird. Like, I just don't understand what this team is doing.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Their direction feels like they're at the bottom. They're gonna be at the bottom still, so I guess it's fine. But they just feel like they have a very odd direction at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I want to see them maximize Clingan soon and also Scoot soon.
Yeah, they still have
if they can really. That's
Robert
their future.
Williams on the roster.
Well,
granted, I was gonna say, granted, he's not gonna play, so no need to worry about Robert Williams, really.
Yeah, and then they have other guys that they want to handle the rock, like Shaedon Sharpe and Simons, and it's just there is good stuff there that I like, but the construction of it all is just not great. And yeah, in the West, they just don't stand a chance against most of these other teams.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's anything else to say with them.
No.
Sorry, Blazers, but
we don't care about you.
No. Who do you have at 14?
I have Utah here.
Yeah, same. Kind of the same sort of thing. Just a bit better.
I don't know. I think, spoiler alert, I have the Spurs at 13. I feel like as an NBA community, we might be jumping the gun on the Spurs a little bit. I think Utah will be closer to the Spurs than people are, kind of acting like. Because obviously, Wemby's a dog. But, the Jazz still have Lauri Markkanen. They still have Gunnar, Jordan Clarkson. They still have John Collins playing center for them was actually kind of decent. Since, for whatever reason, they hate Walker Kessler there.
I don't understand that. I really like Walker Kessler.
I think it's just so weird because he had such a good rookie season. And then he, just
stayed the same.
They were like,
no.
and they were like, yeah, PT, you don't need that.
Yeah, Will Hardy as a coach is really good though. So that's
Yeah,
another thing. They have a guy like Laurie, that the Blazers don't have, and they just have a way better coach. Like they're gonna start out like they've been starting out their seasons good because they have good coaching, and then it's like okay, time to level out.
yeah, and I really like Cody Williams as well. I think he'll be solid for them. They had a pretty good draft
Yeah,
in general. They just picked up a lot of guys even later in the draft. But yeah, I don't know. I just think people write off the Jazz as if they're just gonna be near where Portland is, which I mean, I
yeah.
guess
I mean
they technically
they are,
technically they are, but
but no, I like this team a lot better than Portland. Taylor Hendricks could also maybe get some run. And we also didn't mention Colin Sexton, who I think has been very underrated for the Utah Jazz. He is going to be a 20-point per game scorer, I think, for them this year, and he can shoot the ball from three now. And like he's not beating Kyrie and KD like he was with the Cavs, because that was an insane game.
where you
Um,
soloed them.
yeah, that was crazy. Like he's not that high level score anymore. Like he's not going to get like 25, which I think he did one of those years.
Did he
But
actually
he
get up to
still was really good
25?
for the
Jeez.
Jazz. I
Yeah,
feel
no.
like he did.
He's always he's always gonna do what he does, and that's get buckets. And when you're in a position like the Jazz are, sometimes
24. He got up to 24.
yeah, damn. But yeah, when you're in a position where the Jazz are, where you just don't have a lot of talent, sometimes that's just what you need, and that will win you some games.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, he averaged 19 points per game last year on almost 40% from three. Like 5 assists. He had a very underrated year. Yeah, just another good player for them. I like what the Jazz are doing as well. Um, maybe I don't know. I still would like them to try and capture the flag a bit more.
I know,
So
like
extending Laurie was a bit odd, but
I guess they just really like
they still have good
Laurie.
odds.
The thing is, yeah, they're in a place where they can kind of do both. It would be nice to just see them fully buy into that, but they'll be
Yeah, for
fine, I
sure.
suppose. Plus, they have the Timberwolves picks as well.
Yeah. Let's move on to number 13. You already said you have the Spurs.
Yes.
I don't have the Spurs here. I have the Clippers because I'm done with them. I was done with them last year. I had them as the like 11 seed. Obviously, they were the 5th seed and won over 50 games, but I didn't know that Kawhi and PG would play as many games as they did. No one really thought that. And then they went out and got James Harden. But Kawhi hasn't even practiced with the team yet, and he has no timeline. And I feel like the fact that we don't know when he could come back is very concerning.
Yeah.
That just scares me a lot, and I just don't like this team, man. I don't know,
Yeah. No,
and I feel like
I have the Clippers one spot higher at 12, and I just
yeah, we
think
just have them flipped.
yeah,
So
I just think now that Paul George is gone, like before you could at least say, um if Kawhi's injured, Paul George is still there. If Paul George is injured, hopefully Kawhi is healthy at that time. Now you don't have that security blanket, and your security blanket is Harden. And while I am expecting Harden to have a pretty decent season this year, I don't think it's really enough to warrant really think taking them into consideration as a threat. The only reason I don't think they'll bottom out fully is because one, they have no reason to, and two, because
yeah,
Ty Lue always is able to get the best out of his role players. So I think they'll still be they'll still be a tough matchup every night, whether or not Kawhi is there.
no, for sure, they definitely will. They have some really good like role players that I like, and yeah, Ty Lue is an amazing coach. But when you're relying on a Harden for who knows how much, like I don't know. I just think that like I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi plays half the season, maybe even less, just because I'm just very concerned. And yeah, they do have no incentive to win because new arena, they don't have their picks. But I just think that they'll try to win, but it just won't really work that well.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I have the Spurs above them. We could talk a bit about the Spurs. Yeah, like people are saying that they're going to make a big jump, which I think they will in theory, But then you look at the teams, and I think they kind of slot in at 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I can't really see them finishing higher.
I just think
But,
their roster isn't enough quite yet. At least unless you get some solid progression from all of their young guys, which is I don't exactly think is realistic.
No,
but
Vassell would have to be like a 25-point per
Yeah.
game scorer, I think, for them
You
to.
know, I think the Chris Paul signing will work out great for them, and I think he'll be able to get everybody involved. And I think it'll just be another step for them, the roster as a whole, which is why, I don't think it's the end of the world if they, aren't in the play-in race or anything yet. Again, and I also really like, Devin Vassell. He's a really good 3-level scorer, super efficient. He's going to try to defend as well. And then their forwards is kind of where I'm a little, I don't enjoy them as much. Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
I've never he's a good basketball player, but I've never really enjoyed the idea of an undersized forward, especially 6'4", 6'5" type playing your small forward / power forward.
He's not great at anything either. He's just kind of like okay at a lot of things.
Yeah. And then even Sohan, I'm a little questionable about. I think with Chris Paul there, you might see a better version of him. But Popovich tried out the point guard thing. Obviously, it didn't work out very well. But
that's another thing.
I don't think he cared, and I don't think he really picked up on really any of the point guard skills. He just seems more like
weird.
He just seems like more of a dirty work guy to me, which is fine. But hopefully, he can show that he's
like a utility player, kind of.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna do weird things at the beginning of the season where they run Sohan at point guard, and they're not gonna have Wemby at power forward because that just didn't work.
Pop was just messing around at that point, man.
So we're replacing that with Chris Paul now on the team, and Chris Paul and Trey Jones minutes as the point guard minutes is going to be way better than what they had last year.
It really helps out their depth a lot too, and then you have Castle as well. They've got some decent depth, but I just don't think they're ready yet to make any serious leaps at least.
No, for sure. Castle can make an impact right away, I think, and also Harrison Barnes is a solid player for them. That's more veteran leadership. That's more depth. He's a guy that's going to play every game because he's really durable. Wemby is great. I don't think that he's going to make the playoffs yet or be in the play-in even. I think he'll average 25, 26 points per game. The rest of the team isn't there quite yet.
Yeah.
Which isn't awful. Now, okay, this is where things get weird.
This is where it gets rocky.
I'm very curious for what you have. Who do you have at 11 here?
I am upset with who I have here. I have the Warriors here.
Okay.
Because
talk about the Warriors.
I really liked their offseason, what they did with their roster. You pick up D'Anthony Melton, obviously a super hard-nosed defender. Buddy Hield come in and replace Klay Young. What the hell?
Klay Young.
Oh my lord. Klay Thompson's floor spacing. Another year of Pod's progression. Another year of hopefully Kuminga can kind of take another leap. And then you have brought in Kyle Anderson as well. New jump shot looking clean. I don't know. Their roster doesn't feel like enough. And, you never know what Draymond... his antics, and I mean they're not getting him and Steph aren't getting any younger either, so
that's another thing. The teams I have above them, if their best player gets injured, they can kind of stay afloat more than the Warriors. If Curry goes through a bad stretch or if he gets injured, then this team kind of falls apart. I think Kuminga will take a good jump this year. He's been looking really good in preseason. He's been hitting threes and just the confidence from three, which I think is really good for his game. I think he could be an MIP candidate. And then, I don't think Draymond will miss as much time as he did last year.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. How many games? They won 47 games. And I think they'll be better than last year because I don't think that Draymond will miss as much games. And I don't think that Wiggins will be as bad because he really can't be as bad as he was last year.
No,
But
he can be bad if he misses time again. But yeah, no, I hope for at least a little bit of a bounce back from Wiggins. You don't have to be back to your somehow got all
yeah,
star starter, but go back to at least being an impactful player.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I have the Warriors a couple spots higher. I have the Kings at 11,
Yeah,
and
I I originally had them there, but I've moved my
yeah,
list around. I felt like I couldn't do it to the Kings again. They picked up
it
DeRozan.
feels whoever you put at 11, it just feels bad because
No,
they're not
it's
even in the
that's the
play-in.
thing. It's like you can't even be fighting for your chance. You're just done. Like it's crazy. The West is just too stacked, man.
Yeah, and then like they were the 9 seed last year, and they added DeRozan, and now I have them at 11, which like feels weird. And especially like if you want to talk about stars with durability, I think you could rely on Sabonis and DeRozan a lot. Like those guys play games. Um, I just really don't like the fit, and I could be proven wrong, but I just also don't like that Fox is going to be have to be even more of a shooter, because year after year, Fox. We talked about this in the point guard
Yeah,
list. But Fox has been taking less and less shots at the rim and has been expanding his range, which is good. Like that he's developed that ability, but I think he relies on it too much because his team kind of is forcing him to be in that situation. Um, like I don't know. Like Sabonis is great. He's gonna like get his stats. He's gonna be a beast. But I just look at the defense of this team as well, and I am concerned.
yeah. No,
Um,
that's the thing. I originally had them as the outside team too, and I really wanted to. I I feel like that is low key the most logical, but I just feel like you're adding a talent as good as DeMar DeRozan. You can make it
yeah,
work at least for the regular season, and like I try, I go back to 2 seasons ago as well when they were the 3 seed, and feel like part of that can still be replicated. Obviously, not to that extent, but I don't know. I still think they have a good enough roster to where they can at least make the play in. I guess.
no, that's fair. My reasoning is just someone has to be at 11, and they're the
Yeah.
team I like the least. So I think most of my list is kind of just based off roster construction and how much I like the rosters.
Yeah.
And I just don't really mess with this Kings roster. Um, I'm just not buying stock into them, and yeah, I don't know. The defense and the spacing are things that are really concerning for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you said you have the Warriors at 11. I have the Kings. Who do you have at 10?
I have the Rockets here.
Okay.
And I wanted to put them higher on the list, but obviously they were the odd team out last year, and I at least felt like they could be in the actual play in this year. I really
Yeah.
like Amen Thompson. I think he's going to have another good season. Hopefully, he could shoot better than 15% or
10%.
whatever
Yeah.
they're shooting. Um, you know,
Those Thompson twins, man.
Fred Van Vliet had a really good year last year. Sengun obviously was looking really good, and even Jalen Green I think is starting to buy in a little bit more and just become a better all around player and more impactful player. Um, but I just think they're still a little bit too young to the point where they can really make some serious noise. But I mean, I guess
Hey,
we never know. Maybe they can.
people said the Thunder were young. The Thunder are young. And who are we gonna have at the 1 seed?
Denver.
They don't have a Shea.
No,
Which
that's
yeah,
the one difference is that they have the
yeah.
Thunder found their guy and the Rockets are still kind of looking for their guy. Because
Yeah.
I
And
like a
that's
lot of the pieces they have on their roster. I just feel like
yeah,
none of
yeah.
them have really shown me that they could be that guy yet.
No, that's completely fair. Like you're in the same range as teams that have Steph and LeBron and Zion and all this, and you have Şengün, who I really like, but he's not on the level of those guys.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I have the Rockets higher. I have the Pelicans at 10,
Okay.
and it's disrespectful. I know. Um, I'm very this range. I just decided to be a bit weird with it.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
think like I think this is like the closest kind of tier you can find, but even still, I think I could see any
yeah,
of these teams being better than where I'm kind of ranging them.
yeah, for sure. But with the Pelicans, I just again roster construction. It's the same thing with the Kings. I don't trust the roster construction. I think it's very abstract and weird. It could work. And like they were a really good team last year. Well, they were a 7 seed last year, and they have Zion who's going to be more healthy. They added Dejounte Murray. So like on paper that looks good, but just the overall fit with Ingram and Dejounte, I think their skill sets overlap a lot. And also the uncertainty with Ingram's future kind of
Bi
puts a cloud over a team.
Bi says he's gonna
Uh,
start jacking up threes this season.
yeah, probably because he's like, fuck this team. I don't give a
I'll
shit.
believe
Let me
it when I
just.
see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I think Zion will have a really good season. But yeah, I think that when you have a top player like Ingram that's so uncertain, I think it does create a cloud over a team, kind of.
Yeah.
Um, and like if they do get rid of him, they're not gonna get anything substantial back. I don't think.
Well, and he hasn't
Um,
played any preseason minutes yet either, and it's apparently not
mhm.
injury related. So people are assuming they're still shopping him around, which would make sense.
Yeah, but who's gonna trade for him right now?
The Jazz.
Like if they were okay, go Jazz. They'll still be the 14th seed if they.
Maybe they'll be the 13 seed after.
CJ McCollum, we know what he does on the basketball floor. So that's another thing. But the whole center thing is something that is another reason. Like I think I had them higher before the center thing came out, that they were gonna have Herb be center, and just the whole center situation in general. How Daniel Tice is gonna play a lot of heavy minutes when he was even in the league last year.
David
And
Griffin
then
is not intelligent.
they have Yves Missy, who started playing basketball like 3 years ago, and
Yeah,
he might get run.
I doubt he's gonna get like significant run at least. It's
If there's an injury to a front court player, though,
If
what
there's-
other option do they
that's
have?
true. If Zion misses some time, there's gonna be some extra PT around, especially now
Yeah,
that Trey Murphy's out as
um,
well.
Yeah, but when you have no center and no rim protection, no like tall players, and you're against the West, who has like lots of bigs. You have Jokic. You have even like guys like Nurkic and Derek Lively and like Chet. Those guys are still gonna feast, I think. Just because they have the size advantage and they, can kill them on the glass.
Yeah.
Which is something that they like the Pelicans, like they thrived on getting rebounds, and that was a big thing for them. Zion's gonna have to step up his rebounding if they want to be competent in that area. But I just don't believe in this team getting stops, and even if they do get a stop, I don't know how they're gonna secure a rebound really.
Just got to score on offense.
But yeah, and that's clunky because I don't think they're gonna get the threes they need, even though Ingram says he will. But yeah, just with a lot of bigs, that's just like when you're going into a game against the Pelicans, that's just such a huge advantage for you that you can kind of abuse.
Yeah.
Like if you have any size, you could just be like, okay, this is gonna be what we do today, and it is probably going to work.
Josh Hart's gonna average 15 rebounds against the Pels.
It's the revenge game. But yeah, like DeJounte, I think will be better, help them in clutch situations and also setting people up. But I don't know. There's just an aura about this team that I'm not messing with.
Stinky aura.
Yeah, we're ranking conference standings off of aura. That's so yeah, I have the Pelicans at 10. You have the Rockets at 10. Number 9. Who do you have?
I had the Sacramento Kings here.
Yeah. Anything else to add about them?
We already kind of went in depth on them, but yeah, I think the offense will work well enough to the point where I don't think it'll be a major issue. I do think
Yeah,
more of their
that's fair.
problems will be on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, another kind of clunky roster, which is hard to justify putting anywhere near the top of the West with how
Yeah,
polished everyone else is up there.
yeah, because the Pelicans and Kings, like, they have so much talent, but I just have them low. Um, so yeah. Number 9, this is where I have the Warriors. We talked about them a bit. Yeah, like I think Kuminga will have a good jump. I don't think Wiggins will be as bad. I don't think Draymond will miss as much games. And then you have AirPods, who I really like. I think he'll have a good year. And then Trace Jackson Davis, I'm a big fan of, and he got taller, so they have more size on the team because that's something they were lacking was size, and
They've
then
always
they
been
just wanted
lacking.
internal growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to go get big because they knew there was a growth spurt coming for Trace. I guess so, but there was something else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, and this team is also a team that could buy at the deadline to kind of try and push themselves into a new tier. So that's something I look at as well. Like teams that are going to be looking to kind of deplete their roster at the deadline, like potentially the Pelicans by trading Ingram, and then teams that are going to try and level up, like the Warriors. So I have them at 9. I'm excited for the Warriors this year. I like their depth a lot.
Yeah,
They
I
have lots
really
of good
like their
pieces.
roster in the offseason they had. I guess it's kind of contradictory since they put them at 11. But yeah, I really like
Yeah.
the offseason they had, and I could easily see them being, upper end of the playing even as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that 7 seed is just up for grabs. And then you have the Kings at 9. So let's go to number 8. Who do you have there?
Yeah, this is where I have the Pels, and I was trying to not be
Yeah.
biased, but also trying not to take into consideration or take out of consideration what they've done in previous seasons. I think offensively,
Yeah.
I think they will look pretty good. You're now going to be able to kind of run a 4 in 1 out style, and Zion's free to attack a big. And he says his mid range and his 3-point shot are feeling good. I doubt he's taken more than 2 a game.
No.
But I'm expecting Bi to at least shoot the 3 ball a little more this year. DeJounte's was pretty good last year as well with his floor spacing. But got up a decent amount. I'm kind of worried that Herb Jones' shot might regress slightly. But I don't think that's the end of the world. And then obviously they're gonna run CJ they're gonna start him now that Trey Murphy's out, and they're leaning towards Herb Jones playing center. But obviously, you're still gonna put Zion up on the big body center because I don't think Herb Jones guarding Jokic is a smart decision. But I don't mind it for the defensive side of the ball, just because your other option is Daniel Tice, and what's Tice gonna do better than Zion can if he's guarding the big? So that's my only thing. But yeah, it's just such a poorly constructed roster, and their depth I feel isn't quite as good, especially Trey Murphy going out, losing Najee Marshall. Waiving Matt Ryan, re-signing him, and then waiving him again. Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit odd. Jordan Hawkins, I hope, gets some minutes.
Yeah, he's been looking okay in preseason apparently and workouts, but I just don't think there's.
Well, with them losing depth, I think that he could definitely find minutes.
I don't know, because he's super small, and I guess he'll get some backup.
He's 6'5", but he's like skinny.
Thin. He's thin, yeah.
Yeah, he's thin.
But yeah,
6'5" is small. Man, what a nice life he must.
Yeah, I don't know, because obviously CJ and DeJounte are going to dominate most of the minutes, so I guess he'll get some backup 2 guard time.
Yeah, there'll be some minutes to go around, but we'll see. At 8. I have the Rockets here, and
okay, buying in.
It's a bit spicy, but I am really high on the Rockets this season. They have a great coach. I love what Ime did with this team last year. And the thing that I think is really good for this team is everyone's young and they have another year of development and another year of, workouts and improvement. And then also, like, almost everyone is in a contract year, which I think when someone's in a contract year, they kind of play up,
Yeah.
because you want that bag. So Jalen Green doesn't have his extension yet. He's fighting for that, and we've seen what he can do at the end of last season. Um, I think he'll be better I think he'll be more consistent this year. I don't know if we'll see that same level we've seen at the end of last season,
Yeah.
but who knows? Crazier things in the NBA have happened. And then you also have Şengün, who is due for a contract year. I think he'll be an all-star this year. Um, so yeah. And then Fred VanVleet also is up for a contract extension. He's going to want another bag since he is getting, a bit older. And then I think Jabari's up for a contract too. Tari Eason. So, like all their top guys are wanting a bag. And I think that that's a good recipe to have. Everyone hungry, wanting to win, wanting to play at their highest level.
Yeah.
And I just love the depth of this team. Like, I think Reed Shepherd will make an impact right away. I really like Dylan Brooks. You got Cam Whitmore, who will get more run, and I think he'll be better this season. Amen Thompson has, same thing. He's been looking great. Jabari Smith, another year of him, kind of filling out his game. Maybe he'll improve in areas and kind of be more of a specialist, kind of find a strength more in his game. And then, yeah, like Fred VanVleet's a really good floor general. I just really like this team. I like their depth. And the fact that they're all young and in a contract year, they're a team that, there's going to be a surprise in the West. There always is. There's always a surprise when it comes to conference standings. And if I had to bet on a team that people are overlooking to take that jump, I would have the Rockets.
This is a good point. Yeah, I had them.
I had them as the 7 seed at one point, so I even had them a bit higher.
Yeah,
I want to tone it down a bit.
Yeah, I had them around this area on one of my earlier drafts, and I really wanted to keep them there, but I just felt like I didn't want to fully take the risk on buying in on their young guys taking it.
I just like this team a lot more than the Pelicans and Kings roster construction. And also, I like the coaching that the Rockets have better, and the structure and system they kind of have in place. Like, they have that identity already, and people are buying in to that defensive system, even though they're not defensive players. And yeah, like, when you have that bag that's on the line as well, maybe you'll start playing more defense. Maybe Jalen Green will buy even more on that side of the ball because he wants to prove that he is worth a big bag. So yeah, I don't know. I'm buying stock. Thank you. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane, but I'm buying Rocket stock. So, and then 7, I'm guessing we have the same team here. I have the Lakers.
I have the Timberwolves here.
What? Okay.
I've been flip-flopping them around this range, kind of the 6 through 4 or 5 through 7 range. I just I don't know. Because I think the thing that will be in their favor is that they'll be a good regular season team still.
Well, that's what we're ranking now.
I know.
Did you not get the memo?
I just I don't enjoy Julius Randle as a player a lot. I just think he really is another super clunky kind of player in general. I think, and I'm pretty sure he's missing time at the beginning of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't know. I just really don't know how to feel about him and his fit with the team. Ant was complaining about spacing when they still had Cats the first year, and now you add Julius Randle, who's going to be playing out of the mid range a lot. And I don't know. Dante DiVincenzo seems to think he's a demon, so maybe they'll be fine in that aspect. They have some decent depth as well. I don't know if I'm fully buying in on Robert Dillingham coming in and making an immediate impact. As much as I do like him, he's so tiny.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of have a lot of guards now, with Conley, Nikhil, DiVincenzo, obviously and
Yeah, I was waiting for
and
it.
Dillingham. Um, and I've never really enjoyed the idea of Nikhil playing a 3 range, but I mean, I guess we're in such a
Yeah.
position in this era that it doesn't matter too much. But I don't know. I'm just
I
not
guess
totally
Dante will
sold.
play that 3. Like, will Dante DiVincenzo be that backup small forward for
Good.
them?
Leonard Miller
I
jump.
guess
Leonard Miller jump.
6'4". Yeah, I don't know. The Michael Jordan of Delaware is Dante DiVincenzo's nickname. I don't know how to feel about Dante coming into the season because I thought he found a home in New York and he was playing at the best we've seen him. And he's played on so many teams and he's been completely different at every one. So I'm just like, is he going to continue his play from New York over?
Yeah.
Um,
And it's just
I
so
don't
weird
know.
because he's been pretty impactful in most places that he has gone to as well. It's not like he's just been getting tossed around because he's been mid.
What? Yeah, true. But yeah, he's low-key been a journeyman. This is his 5th team in, let's see, 1, 2, like this is his 5th team in 5 years,
Is it actually only 5 years?
or maybe 4. 2021, and then because he played for 2 teams. No, it's 5 teams in 4 years.
That's crazy.
So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I have the Timberwolves higher.
That's
I
the 1
don't.
seed.
No, I don't think they'll be as good as last year.
Yeah.
I also don't like Julius Randle a lot, but they're just deeper now than they were last year, which I like. But yeah, losing Cat and just the spacing is gross. But I think for the regular season, it will be fine enough.
And I think if you can get a good shooting season out of Jaden McDaniels, it could kind of counteract that anyways. So
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. But then also, like, I don't think they'll be as good as the over-unders have been for them. Because they're right now ranked as, like, the 2nd best team in the West in terms of, like, over-unders. I don't think that they'll be the 2nd seed in the West. And you clearly don't. So,
what are you talking about? I have them as the 2 seed, man.
Yeah. No, you have them making the over for their wins, but they're still the 7 seed. You just have everyone, like, the 6 seed's going to win 60 games. The 5 seed's going to win 60. No. I have the Lakers at 7. I thought this is going to be where they were, but I guess not. So yeah, I have them at the top of this, section with the Rockets and the Warriors and the Pels and the Kings. I think that's kind of where it breaks off. But the Lakers, like, I think that the coaching will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Having a coach that actually has a mind, I think that'll help a lot.
Damn.
I think that Dalton Connect can come in and make a difference. I think them playing their best starting 5 for the year is going to be good because
Crazy
Darvin
idea.
Ham's just an idiot.
Crazy
Yeah.
idea.
Like, the starting 5 that made it to the conference finals, you bring the team back, but then you split up what worked for you. And last year that lineup had the best rating too. It's clearly their best starting lineup. My concern is that for this team, you're relying on another healthy AD and LeBron season.
That's true.
When they're coming, like, AD had a really healthy season last year, and to think that, like, let's see how many games he played. 76, and LeBron played 71.
Get
So
that man
you're
some
like,
rest.
both these players played above 70 games last year, and I just don't know if you can count on it again, especially since, like, obviously their success is so closely tied together with how much those two play.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna, play 50 games, but even if they play like 60 to 65, I still think that that's obviously worse than last year.
Yeah, that's
But-
fair. I'm trying not to fully buy stock in the Lakers because I have them 1 spot higher at 6, and
Okay, yeah.
I think that would be my major concern as well now. Just the AD, especially AD injuries. Like, LeBron's gonna take his time whenever he needs since he's grandpa status, but
Not even Unk.
he's not Unk. I'm Unk at this point in my life.
On it, Yeah, that's crazy. You were wrong.
But yeah, I think the coaching change will make a noticeable enough difference, I guess I'll say. And I think it's already partially showing in even just preseason. Obviously, don't take preseason heavily into consideration, but you know, I think it's showing that JJ will at least be a competent coach. Um, and yeah, I still like their surrounding pieces. I would have enjoyed maybe if something slightly had changed, but I think we'll see just you know, we'll see the best come out of their guys this year in comparison to when we saw, you know, the worst of a lot of them last year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that we both had them pretty high last year in the standing predictions. So I kind of want to be a bit more cautious this year. We probably had them as a top 3 seed last year. Now that I think about it, I think the Suns and the Lakers were kind of up there for people, and we followed it, and look where it ended up. So that's why I don't believe everything that everyone's going with.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
why I'm not trying to fully buy in on them, but I could definitely see them having a not significantly, but a noticeably better season than last year.
no, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So number 6, you said you have the Lakers here. I think we talked about the Lakers. Do you have anything else to add with them?
No, that was pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Get Bronny some
Okay.
minutes. Don't do
See dead people. Number 6, I have the Grizzlies here. You might have them higher. Just I feel like you have them higher.
I have them
like a lot higher.
I have them
I
one
don't know.
spot higher at 5.
Okay, I was like, well, who are you high on? Because the Timberwolves. Okay, we'll get to it. But with the Grizzlies, they're already starting off with some injuries, which sucks. You know, Jaren, I think, is injured right now. Not long term, but still, that man gets injured. Gigi Jackson's out long term, and then Vince Williams, I think, has a serious-ish injury. Yeah, I really like that. Well, obviously, I like that Jaw's going to be back because he's a beast.
No, we think he's going to be back.
Yeah, we'll see. But if Jaw is playing, I think that he can be really great. Like, this team was really good when Jaw was healthy a couple years ago. They were one of the top teams. The West has gone better since then, I think, but I still think they can get to similar levels of success.
Well, and even last season, he came back for, you know, like 2 weeks, and he came and derailed the Pelicans season. And yeah, I think yeah, it sucks that they're already getting hit with the injury bug, and I think I could see them being better, but it just really depends on how quickly things kind of click for them, and I also think it depends on how you know, impactful right off the gun that Zach Edey really is, because I don't think
I think he will.
Yeah, I think he'll be solid for them. I don't quite think he'll replicate what Steven Adams was bringing for you, but I also don't know if you need him.
Not as a rookie.
Yeah. And then I'm still kind of questionable on the Marcus Smart fit. I think it'll be fine. I don't know if they're planning to start him at the 3, or I guess Desmond Bane at the 3. I'd lean towards putting him on the bench, but I mean, it depends.
I also would, but I think they're starting the 3 of them, which I don't really agree with.
I don't know. I just think at this point you kind of have to, with Vince Williams being out and Gigi Jackson's going to be out. But I mean, I don't know. Once they are fully healthy, they'll be a super fun team to see, and kind of see how everything clicks. But yeah, I definitely could see them being lower as well.
Yeah, for sure. Desmond Bane, I think that last season with Jaw, I think Jaw being out helped the development of Jaren and Desmond Bane, just because they were able to, you know, expand their games a bit, develop some of these skills that I think will carry over.
Yeah.
Like, I think Desmond Bane as a playmaker and shot creator, we'll see a bit more of this year than we did a couple years ago when Jaw was there. And then same thing with Jaren. And I think that the difference from Jaren last year and this year on the defensive end, because he doesn't have to play center as much and they have a real big body there, I think will be night and day.
Yeah.
Because Jaren just isn't that on-ball center defender that you need. He is best in the Giannis role with the Brook Lopez. He's a roamer,
he does
weak side shot blocker. Yeah. So there's that. Marcus Smart's gonna get shots because he loves chucking them.
He loves his shots.
Yeah, and I and I think that Edie will make a difference right away. I don't think he will be as impactful as Steven Adams was, but again, like you mentioned, he doesn't necessarily have to. So yeah, I have this team being good. I don't have them being a top seed in the West, but I mean it's their first year back together, and they're already facing some injury concerns. So yeah, I don't know. It's a fair spot for them. So at number 5, you said you have the Grizzlies, right?
John Morant, I'm on my Grizzly.
Anything else about them?
No, we kind of hit everything already.
Yeah, I have the Suns at 5. I feel like this might be the team you have higher.
I don't
instead
know.
of the Timberwolves.
I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see. I like to think that I'm high on the Suns, but it seems you're higher on them. The thing about the Suns is they won 49 games last year. That was without Bradley Beal playing a lot of games. That was without an actual point guard. And that was, all that. And that was without them shooting threes. And Bud is a guy that, even though I don't think you're the biggest Bud fan, I think we've shit on him in the past. He will win you regular season games. He will win you regular season games, and they're already starting to shoot some more threes in preseason, which I think will carry over because that's kind of Bud's philosophy. Nurkic might even start hitting threes because that's what Bud does to his big men. He did it with Horford and Millsap. He did it with Brook Lopez. Now we'll see if Nurkic, because Nurkic has the shooting ability to actually hit threes. I think that he'll expand his game. And Tyus Jones is a guy that I think is going to be huge for this team. Yeah. Not having a point guard last year hurt them a lot. I think Booker will be better this year because of it. I think Durant will be the same, if not better, because of it. I think that having that point guard is really an underrated aspect. And it's incredible that Frank Vogel was laughed at by the organization for wanting a point guard.
Yeah, everything's kind of coming around for them later than it should have, but yeah, I think it'll impact them to the point where they're gonna have a much better. At least they're gonna be much more cohesive than last year, and if anything, start off better because at the beginning of the season, weren't they like the 10th seed? I remember them starting off super slow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was them and the Lakers, but I mean the Lakers are always mid, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then another thing with this team, they won't be the worst clutch team in the league. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah. I think it's crazy that they were worse than the Pistons last year. Like, how is that even possible? That's crazy. How is that even possible?
The Pistons were so bad.
The Pistons are terrible. No, because when they were on their 28-game losing streak, every game they were in was, like, semi-competitive. And then in the fourth quarter, they just blew it every time. I was like, these fucks.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, I don't think the Suns will be the worst clutch team in the league. I think they'll shoot more threes, and their offensive philosophy and just their offense will be a lot better this year. The defense obviously still concerns me, but that's why I have them at this spot, I guess. But I could see them smashing whatever their over is and being a top team in the West and kind of, I guess, surprising some people, because I think the top 4 is kind of set with the Thunder, Mavericks, Timberwolves, and Nuggets in lots of people's mind. But if there's a team that's going to jump into that tier, I think it's the Suns. And clearly you do too, because you have them in that tier.
No.
So who did you have at 5? It was the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
Who do you have at 4?
I have Denver here at 4. And I feel bad about it.
I also have them here, so you don't need to feel that bad.
No, I feel bad about it. Because
I do too.
Part of me thinks, I really like KCP, and the fit with them was obviously, match made in heaven. But, and losing him is obviously big, and the replacement being Russell Westbrook is questionable. But at the end of the day, they still have Nikola Jokic, who is the best player in the league to this day still. And, hopefully Jamal Murray comes back and kind of has another good season so far. So far, it's looking questionable, but we can hope, I
Team
suppose.
Canada and the I don't know.
You know, another season of Michael Porter Jr. being the never swing the rock man, and you know, maybe we can get some more development elsewhere in his game. Obviously, Aaron Gordon, like you still have your main foundational pieces, and
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I think banking on the younger guys' progression as well isn't a terrible decision. Like if all you're asking them to do is take threes when Jokic gets you the ball when you're open, it's not the end of the world. And try on defense, the defensive side of the ball, to semi replace what KCP's bringing you. Because I don't necessarily think of the Russ pickup as KCP replacement. If anything, I think of it more as the Bruce Brown replacement from when they lost him 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, or just Jamal Murray insurance as well.
Yeah.
As another thing. Yeah. Like, I think Russell Westbrook will play his part. Yeah, he's not the KCP replacement. They just need Julian Strother or Christian Braun, whatever. How do you pronounce this man's name?
I think it's Brown. It's Brown. Because it's spelt Braun.
It's spelled Braun, but it's pronounced Brown.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
For real. Why are you confusing us
weirdo,
like this?
man. Yeah. But yeah, you kind of hit most of the points. I think we're done kind of thinking Jamal Murray can be a great regular season player, because there's been a couple years where like this is where he's gonna make the All-Star jump. I don't think he'll ever be an All-Star.
No.
I think that's kind of dead. Aaron Gordon, we'll see what that's like. He's in a contract year, I believe, which is scary for this team if they lose him too.
If he could knock down the three ball a little bit better, he could have a really good year. But
yeah, AG and Westbrook on the court, I don't really want them together on the court that much, personally.
2 minutes a game.
But yeah, like this team is obviously they're still the Nuggets. They still have Jokic. They're still going to be really good. But losing KCP isn't a great look for them. They were the 2 seed last year. I don't think they'll be the 2 seed again. I think 4 is appropriate.
That's the thing, though.
But if they're the 2 seed again, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were the 2 seed. I feel like there's no way they fall out anywhere worse than the top 4. Especially with their home court advantage every night.
I think 4, maybe 5 if things go really bad.
Yeah. Or if
I think that like 3 to 5, I think maybe 3 to 4 I think is what they're gonna get, either the 3 seed or the 4 seed. 2 is kind of the best case, 5 is the worst case. And yeah, Jokic is not a guy that's gonna get injured because of his play style and his durability, so that's another good thing. Number 3, who do you have?
I have the Dallas Mavericks here.
Holy shit. My man is a Suns Glazer.
We'll get to it.
With the Timberwolves at 3. So you can imagine who I have at 2 then.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Mavericks.
Yeah, my only reason for having the Mavericks here is because I still don't fully trust them in the regular season.
Okay.
You know, they're always kind of there, but they always they can go on bad stretches, good stretches, and you know, you brought in Klay Thompson, who I think is going to fit super nicely for them. Yeah. Now that he doesn't, you know, obviously he worked in the Warriors system for so long and it worked well, but now that he's older, I think he can take a lesser role and just be spoon-fed by Luka Doncic, which will work out very nicely for him. You know, I really like
both of them.
Yeah, I like Najee Marshall. He'll come out and he'll just give you a different, presence that they haven't really had. You know, someone who can just kind of a jack of all trades guy. He'll attack the basket for you. Super good in transition.
They have Dinwiddie back.
Oh Jesus! And
he loves the Mavericks.
They've got
can't get enough.
You know, yeah, they holster up their depth and they just have a super good roster, perfect fit for Luka. So yeah, they should still be in this area.
Yeah, for sure. And they're always going to have good center minutes, whether it be Lively or Daniel Gafford, which I think is huge for them.
Yeah.
My thing for why like I have them as the 2 seed, so I'm higher than them on I think what people are saying. I think people are overreacting to the Derek Jones Jr. loss.
I agree.
I think they're overreacting a lot. Like Derek Jones Jr. was great in the playoffs, and yes, he was a solid perimeter defender, and he was taking on key matchups for them. But it's not like he was an all defensive player. Like
Yeah.
let's not act like he was.
Yeah, that's the thing. Najee Marshall can come in and replicate the same kind of thing on the defensive side of the ball.
That's what I don't get. Yeah, like I don't think that there's much that Derek Jones Jr. can do that Najee Marshall can't. So that's kind of and defense isn't really like it's not like they were a good defensive team with him.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more or less the same.
And like I understand that some people might be worried about Najee's jump shot not falling as much this year as it did last year, but I could say the same thing about Derek Jones Jr.
wasn't. Yeah. So exactly. I don't really think it's a difference at all.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to come in and replicate what Derek Jones Jr. was doing for them.
Yeah, for sure. And then also with Jaden Hardy another year, I think that I really like Jaden Hardy. Quentin Grimes is a guy that could have kind of a bounce back year.
Is that your phone?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a phone going off.
I was like, what the hell is that?
I don't know why we have a house phone, man. Who has a house phone anymore?
Old.
Yeah, old, I swear. And this team was really good after they made those changes. So, like, their team finished 50 wins on the dot, and they did a lot better after they got PJ Washington and Gafford, and they'll have a full season with those guys, and even adding Clay and Quentin Grimes and another year of Jaden Hardy. I think this team will be the 2 seed. I'm the most confident in them after our 1 seed.
That's fair.
Yeah, and Luka. He didn't go to the Olympics, so he's going to be rested, and we know what Luka can do. So, and then I have the Timberwolves at 3. We talked about. So I have the Mavericks at 2, Timberwolves at 3. We talked about the Timberwolves a bit, but I think they'll be. I don't think they'll fall off that much. I think that there will be a bit of a drop off just because, like the fit with Randall and, the cohesion of that. But I don't think that it'll affect them as much as you think.
No, that's
like
fair.
I could see them dropping. I could see like 5. I think 5 is cool.
I just think everyone else
maybe 6.
I just think everyone
7
else
is crazy.
I just think everyone else in that range is going to be super close as well. Like I don't.
That's completely fair. And we talked about having fun and not taking it seriously. I just wasn't expecting
Sounds
it.
like you're taking it serious. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I went. Yeah. So you have the Mavericks at 3. Is there anything else about them?
No, we kind of hit everything on them. Lonzo Ball
Okay.
returning on Wednesday. My GOAT is back.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm guessing 2 is
finally
where we have the Suns.
We have the Suns, and this will either look like a terrible take or it'll look like a great take. I'm not.
Yeah.
I want to make this clear that I don't think the Suns are going to come out and win like 60 games or anything. But I think they will look very nice in the regular season. And from like the 2 seed to the 7th and 8th seed, I could see being like a 5 or 6 game difference.
Yeah, because what was it? I'm looking at it last year. 57. It was like an 8 game difference last year.
I think the West will be super jam-packed.
I think it'll be closer. Yeah.
I just think the Suns have what it takes to be a super good regular season team. You already mentioned everything with Bud and how the 3-point shots are going to change and the system's going to change in general. And I've said this before. I personally don't like when teams bring in a coach that contradicts everything that your players are good at. It's not that Frank Vogel's a poor coach or a bad coach or anything. I just think he does the opposite of what the Suns players thrive at.
I agree with that. You want to optimize your talent and have a guy that can optimize them, not try and make them into players they're not.
Yeah, and I think Bud will come in and do that for them with getting everybody to up their 3-point shots. I'm expecting a better season out of Bradley Beal. Obviously not a $60 million season, but he'll look similar to the Bradley Beal we anticipated being there. I hope Tyus Jones coming there to set the table for everyone will also be fantastic. He'll shoot.
And they have Monte Morris, so they'll always have kind of a floor general.
Two floor general point guards now.
Like, those guys have been the most efficient playmakers over the past couple of seasons. Like, when it comes to assist to turnover ratio, they've been the best at handling the rock and, you know, being those controlled point guards, which I think will help the offense a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to be swayed.
I'm expecting another good year from Grayson Allen as well.
Here's my thing, okay? I would have them as the 2 seed or the 3 seed as well, but Grayson Allen is too jacked. I think he will lose his shooting ability because that man is too buff.
Well, he's always been kind of, I guess not. No, maybe not.
No, this is... He's not shooting 46% again. He's going to shoot 26.
He's going to turn into Giannis.
Yeah, it's going to be the Giannis effect. I mean, Desmond Bane is jacked, and he's still able to shoot.
It's because of them short T-Rex arms.
Yeah. Grayson Allen is going to have a Giannis shooting year. From the best three-point shooter in the league to Giannis.
But yeah, I just think the Suns they're not going to start out as slow this year. Hopefully, you know, more healthy and more time from their core overall in general. And Kevin Durant is aging quite gracefully. And then, yeah, if Nurkic could even start shooting the 3-ball a little bit, they're looking even more dangerous. I saw, I forget which game it was. I was watching a Suns game, and I saw Nurkic pull a 3, and I was like, oh, hell no. And he splashed that shit. I was like, damn.
That's what's it's going to be this season,
and Ryan Dunn, I just saw a post of his freaking 6 for 11 from 3. If this man's actually hitting threes, it's over.
It's over. There's no way. His unforeseen breakout continues in the preseason. Is Ryan Dunn already the steal of the draft? Holy shit.
No,
I didn't even know about Ryan Dunn. 2 seed it is. Let's go.
For real, that's the deciding factor.
Yeah, he's the X factor. No, I think we're in agreement with everything that we've been saying about the Suns. I just am giving more respect to the teams that were there in that range last year. But like, hey, if the Suns are the 2 seed, I mean, I'm gonna applaud you. I'm not gonna be surprised either.
Oh, I predicted it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the number 1 seed we'll talk about a tiny bit. It's the Thunder. They're going to be even better than last year. They were the best team in the West last year, and they went out and they got 2 of the best role players in the league last year.
Yep.
So, and that they perfectly fit what they need and what they what their identity is.
Yep.
So those are 2 huge things. Shea is going to be Shea. You got Chet, another year with him. You know, the young guys are going to be even better this year. Chet, Jalen Williams, you know, all those guys, they're incredibly deep. They have a great coach. Their system is great. I think that they are head and shoulders above these other teams in the West.
Yeah, I think I would be surprised if the Thunder won under 60 games. I would predict them. I wouldn't be against a bet of saying you know, over 65 for them because they're just so talented. Like
Celtics were 64 last year. I could see the Thunder winning like 62 games.
Yeah. You brought in Caruso, who fits your identity perfectly. He's going to come in and defend the hell out of everybody. The 3-point shot could fall off a bit, but I don't think that'll really even matter, even if it does. Then Isaiah Hartenstein. The one thing they struggled with is, you know, rebounding, offensive rebounding, and he's going to come in and do that. So no reason the Thunder should be any worse. No reason they should be any worse than they were last year.
Yeah, for sure. And the chemistry and vibes are at an all-time high as well. Like, you don't have to worry about chemistry with this team at all either. Like, there's no overbearing personalities that'll get in the way, like a Minnesota Timberwolves with a Randall and Edwards potential clash. But yeah, you have the Thunder, who are just so well composed. They're young. They're incredibly deep. Like, they have guys that they have stashed right now that would get real PT on other teams.
Yeah.
So like if injuries happen, they can definitely stay afloat as well, which you always have to consider like the worst for these teams. And if the worst happens for the Thunder, I think they could still find a way to win basketball games.
It's crazy that they still have like 30 picks.
Yeah, what are they gonna do with those, eh?
Waste them. I saw a post the other day. It was like, why did Shea? It was basically like, why did Shea not run away with MVP last season? And I kind of like. I mean, I don't remember exactly how the season went down in hindsight, but I kind of like feel like he should have been more of a candidate and front runner than he was.
I feel like you were calling me crazy when I was flip flopping my MVP. You always
I know.
had it as Jokic, right?
I know.
Yeah.
But in hindsight,
I had Shea for a long time.
In hindsight,
yeah.
it just feels like he had the stats. They surprised the league and dominated the league, and it always felt like I'd prefer the Nuggets, and even when Embiid was healthy, even Embiid. So I don't know, but maybe he runs away with it this year.
I think I had Shea as the MVP.
Well,
I predicted. I think I predicted that Jokic would win, but I think that my personal pick was Shea. But yeah, I will get into awards next episode because that's what you're jumping the gun here. We're going to talk about awards next episode. But before we end off, we'll just recap our rankings. So, as the number 1 seed, I have the Thunder, 2 the Mavericks, 3 the Timberwolves, 4 the Nuggets, 5 the Suns, 6 the Grizzlies, 7 the Lakers, 8 the Rockets, 9 the Warriors, 10 the Pelicans, 11 the Sacramento Kings, 12 the Spurs, 13 the Clippers, 14 the Utah Jazz, and the Portland Trailblazers at 15.
And I have at 1 the Oklahoma City Thunder, 2 the Phoenix Suns, 3 Dallas Mavericks, 4 Denver Nuggets, 5 Memphis Grizzlies, 6 Lakers, 7 Timberwolves, 8 Pelicans, 9 Kings, 10 the Rockets, 11 the Warriors, 12 Clippers, 13 Spurs, 14 the Jazz, and 15 the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about last episode that was our most different list. I think this one takes it.
Does it? I guess yeah. It just shows how like close the West is.
Like we have 4 things the same, I think. We both have the Nuggets at 4, the Thunder at 1, the Jazz at 14, and the Blazers at 15. Everything else is different.
Yeah.
So so really fun times. We'll see who's right, who's more correct at the end of the season. I'm excited for regular season basketball, man.
Enough of this preseason shit.
Yeah, awards we'll do next episode, and after that it's going to be the season, so stay tuned for that. If you liked this episode and you're on YouTube, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment your own list, comment how stupid we are. I mean,
hate on us,
whatever you want, because hate on us because
engagement.
There's no right or wrong answer, so I'd like to see you try. And then if you're on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, then just stay tuned for what we have coming up next. So that's all for us now. We'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.
Adios.